You're listening to Once Upon a Mama. I'm your host, Molly Ann Luna. Each week, we call my mom, the original Ma, Barb Ripley, to talk about ways of navigating motherhood at different ages and different stages. Because after all, once a mama, always a mama. Hey, Mom.
Hey, Molly.
Where in the world is Barbara Ann Ripley?
I'm in Memphis, Tennessee.
Ding, 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 ding.
Just landed a little bit ago. I'm still in my uniform. Do you
I
like
know
it?
nothing about Tennessee. What's there to do in Tennessee?
Oh, yes, you do. Memphis. This is where Martin Luther King got shot, just down the street here. And Elvis Presley's Graceland is here. Beale Street is just down the street here. It's like kind of like a New Orleans Bourbon Street, but it's Memphis Beale Street.
Okay.
Yeah, there's lots going on here, but it's kind of a crappy day, and I've already been up for 12 hours, so we're just chilling in the hotel today. But
I think you mean it's an awesome day because it's podcast recording day.
It's true. It's true. So I had 3 legs today. And
3 flights.
3 legs means 3 flights. Yeah, I had 3 flights today. And I was going to tell you that
3 legs, or Reese Witherspoon has like 3 legs in the latest Times Up People's Magazine photograph or something.
Oh, I didn't know that was something else. I don't know.
Never mind.
Well, anyway, I was going to tell you that I was flying today and I was serving these gals their Bloody Marys. And the one got her credit card out, and I said, "Oh, are you paying for both of them?" And she said, "Yeah." And the other one, so I said, "Well, you better hang on to her. She's a good friend." She goes, "We've been friends for 50 years." I was like, "Wow, 50 years. That's a great friendship right there." I should have asked where they were going. I'm not sure where they were going.
Who in this day and age have friends for 50 years? Are they older women?
I'm guessing they were around 60, mid 60s. Maybe they met in junior high, or maybe they were 70. I don't know. It's hard to tell anymore, but they were so cute.
So like maybe a generation before you.
Oh yeah.
What?
Probably.
What? Okay, I have to say, well, granted, I don't have 50 years under my belt, period, but
guilty, I do.
Longest friendship. Longest friendship. What would you say is been your longest friendship?
Probably would have been my friendship with Paula.
Mm-hmm.
And you girls are 32 now, and we probably 25 years maybe.
Okay, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, we're still friends, but we're not good at being in touch anymore, which is sad because it's such a easy way to be in touch now. When you were little, we had to be in touch via long distance phone calls and run up the phone bill and had to drive to visit each other. And if you wanted to, you had to write a letter and put a stamp on it,
Did you have to be like, "Hey, yeah, I'll call you Thursday night at 7," and then make sure you're home at like Thursday night at 7? So
no, because we were both always home, and we called each other during the day when our husbands were working, and we were sad and lonely.
Aww.
So, because we were friends, we lived together, or not together. We lived in the same apartment complex when we had you, and she had Brittany. And so we had that commonality, but then we moved away, but we still maintained our friendship. So it was awesome, but it was a lot harder than it is now. And we're not as close now as we could easily be with the digital age. So I don't know, but I don't have a 50-year friendship. No.
What, really to think about just even my childhood and how different it was. Yeah, you had to write a letter. You had to answer the phone. We had a cord, and I was going to say cordless. What's the opposite of a cordless phone? Duh.
Rotary phone or
like in the kitchen, like you had to stand and like you could only go so far.
Yeah.
To the wall.
Yeah, and every time we'd be on the phone, you guys would be raising heck. So it's not like now where you can
nowhere to escape.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, that's interesting because now we can Zoom, we can Skype, we can FaceTime, we can do a Google Hangout, we can, be on a Facebook or some other form of a digital social platform. Mm-hmm. And it seems like staying connected with friends is just like so much easier.
Well, it should be easier. But then I think that's a little bit of the problem too, because I can look at her Facebook, she can look at mine, and we don't really have to communicate. And that's sad and frustrating. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you bring up such a good point. That's probably happening a lot because then it's satisfying that need or that curiosity about what's up with your friend. And it doesn't spark. Ooh, I'm definitely guilty of that. I can think about some of my college girlfriends where I'm like, oh, I feel like I know everything about what's going on in their life. So I could be better about calling them.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good point.
Sorry, I think about it at Christmas time too, because, you know, Christmas cards used to be the thing. I know my other daughter, Megan, she got a lot of Christmas cards. I thought that was awesome. We got a couple, and I don't even think I sent any out. But it's because of the digital age. We used to sit and write out, oh, this is what happened this year. Well, now we're all checking out each other on Facebook. We're like, oh, they don't need a Christmas card. They already know what we've been up to. And so that's kind of a dying tradition.
Yeah, you're right. That is a dying tradition with many other things. And I think there's still this human need for in-person connection.
Yeah.
However, as a new mommy to a toddler, and who works from home, I set my own work hours. It's not like I have to be at a job 9 to 5, and I can be as flexible as I want to be. And a lot of other mommies in my area, I live in Los Angeles, and they're very much in the same way. They freelance or they're entrepreneurs. And yet it's so challenging for us to get together in person because then there's always some excuse that pops up.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you guys were little and your dad worked all the time, it got very lonely. And we didn't have the digital age, but I remember we would like try to like make friends with the neighbors behind us, you know, in Quincy.
You're like all sneaky about it, like
girls, go out and play. Go play with those kids. And then I made friends with.
To make up
I picked you out, yeah. But you know, I was very lonely, and I was just on the other side of the block. And those two moms back there were visiting, and the kids were playing. And you guys, I'm like, go out and play. And then, you know, I would also load you up and take you to the park. It might not have been the easiest thing, but try to find somebody to talk to at the park and at the mall. I mean, do you ever find yourself like trying to take a Hannah to the park and maybe you'll run into somebody, meet somebody new? Or
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, yesterday we drove over to Pasadena because there's this really fun like pirate park that I love to play on. Hannah's a little bit illegal, but like I love it. And I'm like looking around at the other parents, and okay, granted, they all might just be like overly worked, overly exhausted mommies and daddies who are just like, please kids, entertain yourself. But also I'm kind of like looking around for like, hey, do you want to have an adult conversation? Because
I need one.
Talking to myself on a video screen. I'd like to talk to an adult in real life. Yeah. And, you know, either they're sucked into their digital, why do I keep saying digital, but into their phone.
Or
just like disinterested. And then I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like Javon and I are like, well, we'll just play with Ahana and like keep an eye on her and see what she's doing. And like there were no kids there that were really Ahana's age. And then so she's like trying to like get in with the older kids, and the older kids were like, oh, like baby. Like what's his baby?
Nobody wanted to play with my baby.
She just has this like look like, and she's like looking at me and Javon, like, what do I do? And we're doing our best to be encouraging of like, it's okay, baby, like just keep playing. But then after she turned her back, we're both like, we don't know what to do. We feel the same way.
You just need a friend.
So mom, like, you know, before giving birth to Ahana, I worked very diligently when I lived on the west side over closer to the ocean of building up my mommy community. And like that was all great, but then once baby came, it was like super challenging for us to get together. And then I moved across town, which you're like thinking like, oh well, you only moved.
Oh, she moved across town
in Los Angeles. I may as well have moved out of the state or to because nobody leaves the west side to come over to the east side, and so it's become very lonely,
isolating. Yeah.
And so it's been part of the reason why I've been so passionate about finding the other like-minded women out there in the world and bringing them into my Mindful Mamas community. So we have a safe haven to connect and to share and to grow together.
Right. Because you do have the resources now that nobody has to sit home and be lonely and watch 5 soap operas like I did back in the day, you know?
I remember you'd be like, go outside and play or something. Oprah's on at 3 or whatever. Like, or we'd be outside and you'd be like, go in and tell me what time it is so you could like make sure you didn't miss your shows. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, and now everything's so like, stream it right now in this instant.
Yeah, everything's instantaneously.
Hmm.
It's good and bad. I mean, that's the thing. So, okay, so like the other day, our internet wasn't working on our plane, and people, oh, it's an 800 on my internet, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, again, people actually talk to each other. And there was like, it's nice to meet you, blah, 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 blah. And you can just see it just in that flying capsule through the air. Like if your nose isn't in your phone, you are engaging in humanity, you know.
And when you engage in humanity, sometimes really awesome things happen, like you find the love of your life.
Oh yeah, remember like you were on the plane and you didn't even want to talk to him.
Yeah, so we're for you guys listening, we're talking about my husband. I met my husband on an airplane, and he sat down next to me and was like, can I sit here? And I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody. Fine, you can sit here, but don't talk to me. And anyway, we ended up becoming great friends and falling in love and getting married and having a baby.
Which brings you back to friendships.
Friendships, making friends.
Yeah. And even Jovan, your best friend, is very busy. And sometimes you guys are busy co-parenting. So, okay, it's his turn to parent and you got to go do your thing. And then he's got a parent. And so you don't even you got to make the time for that friendship too.
We do. I had to text him today because I wanted to tell him something. And even though we were both in the house, I had to text it to him because I wasn't sure if I was going to get a word in edgewise with our screaming toddler. It's screaming in joy, but just, whatever she was doing. I'm like, that's funny. What I have to say. Let me text you.
Well, that's really sad. And you live in an apartment. It's not like you even have different floors you're on. So sad.
The digital age is awesome for friendships, and it also not so awesome sometimes.
Not so awesome. Now, me trying to build friendships in the flight attendant community, because I went from watching little ones, they were my friends, their parents were my friends where they'd drop off and pick up. I have a couple that I still do things with, parents, a good friend, Michaela, that I do things with. But being a flight attendant, I think I went in with the like, I'm going to have a new friend. And Katie, my daughter, she's a flight attendant. She's like, Mom, it doesn't work that way. You fly with them for 3 days and then you just move on. You fly with somebody else. But I really have made some friends my own age, and that I can, I have to digitally like text them, say, hey, how are you at? Where's your flight? What are you doing? But, just to even be able to have an adult to call and check, or if I had a bad flight, I can talk to them about it and they can talk me, back around and be like, hey, tomorrow your next flight will be better. And, so in that sense, love the digital part, because I may not see them, even though I flew with them and we hit it off great for 3 days. I may not see them for another year in face to face. It's really, it's just two-sided to me. I don't know. There's a good and the bad and the ugly with it.
Yeah, there is a good, a bad, and an ugly. So, mamas, we want to hear from you. What is your take on the digital age and friendship? Do you feel like it is enhancing your friendships, or is it hurting your friendships? Are you feeling more connected or even more alone than ever before? Let us know by heading to our show notes and joining the conversation. And
if you are feeling alone, you can join us here, and we'll be here for you, because we know what it's like. We know what it's like. Sometimes we're just home with the little ones. And, again, the digital comes in great. You can reach out to Molly on Facebook. She's got her mamas.
It's called
Mindful Mamas. My mind is gone right now. And there's a lot of moms on there chatting it up. And then you're not alone. So go ahead and join that. That'd be awesome for you.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right, Mom. Have an awesome day. I love you.
Bye, sweetie.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of Once Upon a Mama. Be sure to head to mindfulmamastv.com to join the conversation. Also, if you're a mama or a future mama-to-be, be sure to join the Mindful Mamas community on Facebook. This love-centered community of driven mamas from all over the world are ready to love, guide, and support you as you create a happier, healthier, wealthier life for you and your little ones. Mindful Mamas TV would like to take a moment to say thank you to our exclusive insiders. Your contribution, as little as $1 an episode, is what helps make this show possible. A portion of your contribution goes to the Unstoppable Foundation, a nonprofit humanitarian organization bringing sustainable education to children and communities in developing countries. Not yet an exclusive insider, but want to become one? Go to mindfulmamastv.com/connect to find out more.